It is said that it takes just one big rapid to have you totally hooked onto whitewater rafting for the rest of your life. Well, if that's the case, then Nikhil Alva, who encountered more than 100 rapids on his 3-day river rafting expedition from Rudraprayag to Rishikesh, is in serious trouble.
Rudraprayag in the Garhwal Himalayas is a sleepy little town whose principal attraction is the fact that it's where the Alaknanda and Mandakini rivers meet. It's also where the yatra to Kedarnath begins. But we are not here for the yatra. We are here because downriver from Rudraprayag are to be found some of the world's finest whitewater stretches, a proverbial paradise for any river rafting enthusiast.
Unless you're a die-hard enthusiast with your own gear, it's best to tie up with a specialized river rafting company to make all the arrangements. The average cost per person per day, including raft, camp, food and gear, works out to about 1,000 rupees. The best time to do this is in February and March, and again in October and November.
I've run this river before, but each time the rafts have been readied and the final arrangements being made, I've suffered from an inexplicable attack of nerves. My heart begins to pound, sweat covers my brows, and I begin to question my own sanity. I wonder if the others feel like I do. If Vaibhav, an old college friend of mine and the river guide in whom we've placed our trust, is suffering too from a last-minute attack of nerves, he's not letting any of it show. But then, he's run this river many more times than I have.
Don't panic. The two rafts in the river moving close together. So you're going to get picked up sooner or later. The main thing is not to panic. It's leaning forward, digging. Leaning forward, digging, leaning back. Okay?
Armed with that advice, we're off. A few hundred meters ahead is the Holy Hole, perhaps the toughest rapid to negotiate on this stretch of river. Apparently, it's much more formidable in the summer months when the river volume is higher. But even in its more modest state, it still is a terrifying proposition. And once the powerful current gets hold of your raft, there's no turning back. One big rapid, one big wave, and you understand what makes whitewater rafting so exhilarating. It's the fact that you're not in control, that you have to go with the flow and see yourself as one with the current rather than fighting it. As you go along, you learn a lot about the river and its different moods. You see how still water is usually very deep and how beaches along the way indicate how much higher the water rises during the summer months. You'll be the most moved though by the sheer beauty and purity of the river. The thickly wooded hills and the cries of birds and animals you'll hear but probably won't see will fill you with a sense of wonderment. There's a certain timelessness to the river and you can only experience it on a raft. Its slow progress gives you the time to absorb everything you see and hear. Sometimes, you'll wish you could capture the truly spectacular moments and relive them when your journey is long over. Rapids, we realized, are just one facet, though the most pulse-raising part of the journey. They are formed when gushing water meets obstructions along the way or when the depth of the river suddenly changes. By the end of your first day, you'll feel like a veteran, just the way we felt when we stopped for the night on an isolated beach at Maletha. You'll also be tanned, tired, hungry, and your muscles will feel sore. These are the occupational hazards of rafting. Dry clothes, rest, tents quickly set up, and a fire made from driftwood will make you feel at home in the wilderness. Remember, all the degradable waste gets buried and everything else gets carried away on the raft, so that when you leave, there's nothing to show you were around except footprints and embers.
A good night's sleep, a big hearty breakfast. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on day 2 and we're ready to hit the water again. Today's run down to Bihar's Ghat is full of big exciting rapids of varying grades.
Rapids are graded according to the degree of difficulty of negotiation from 1 to 6. 6 is simply suicidal. It just can't be run. If it does get run by some maniac, its rating falls to 5.5. Five has big hydraulics and long powerful rapids. 4 and 3 are easier but need some degree of expert handling. 2 is easy enough, and 1 allows the raft to travel downstream without any human intervention. Ratings change depending on the season. On the Ganga, the rating is 4 for the Holy Hole, the Wall and a few others. As we progressed down the Alaknanda, we decided to halt at Devprayag, on the confluence of the Alaknanda and Bhagirathi rivers.
It's here at the Sangam, or the meeting of the Alaknanda and Bhagirathi rivers, that the mighty Ganga is born and begins its journey into the plains of India. For millions of Hindus, this spot is second in sanctity only to Triveni at Prayag.
That's why Devprayag is a significant pilgrimage spot in itself. There are several temples here you can visit. You'll be surprised to find Telugu-speaking priests conducting prayers here the way they have done for centuries. As your raft sweeps into the confluence at Devprayag to join what's now the Ganga, you can feel the difference in river volume. The raft becomes more buoyant, almost as if it's sensed that it's now in the holiest of rivers. The Ganga has dominated the consciousness of millions of people for centuries. Rafting downriver from Rudraprayag allows you to become acquainted with the river in its purest form. You'll find deserted beaches with sparkling white sand, incredible clear water, and solitude so complete that it's almost divine. After a few kilometers, the regular commercial rafting section begins at Kodiyala, and in a sense, it's like returning to civilization. Our journey downriver, the team effort you need to negotiate rapids, and the mystical oneness with nature you enjoy makes you lose your inhibitions. Despite the chill, we actually dived into the water. Though it took us ages to recover, we couldn't have cared less. In the summer months, it's actually possible to jump into a rapid with life jacket and helmet and float downstream with the current. It's called body surfing. At the end of our 4th day on the river, we arrived at an adventure camp, just below where the regular rafting section begins.
Come on.
After 3 days of pulse-raising rapids and camping in the wild, pitching tents and pulling them down each morning, it's kind of nice to be able to just sit back and relax for a while. And of course, bio toilets, hot water for a bath, and coffee served in your tent are an added attraction.
We are here just before the season begins, and so we have the camp pretty much to ourselves. Who's complaining?
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Youngers pick them, everyone. When will they?
There are lots of rapids on the last day's stretch to Rishikesh, but after a point, we were hardly conscious of them. Without any of the conveniences modern day travelers have come to expect, we had experienced the river and mountains in more ways we could ever have dreamt possible. And discovered bits of ourselves we never knew existed. Whoever thought a trip on a rubber dinghy could be a voyage of self-discovery?
The poet Francis Bacon once said, "Travel in the younger sort is a part of education. In the elder, it's a part of experience." So, we'll be back next week with more lessons and experiences on another great escape.